Okay, so today I'm gonna do a new type of video. I'm just gonna show you how best to prepare for matches. This is both for before and after game. So what's the best thing to prepare for a match? What can you do after the match to make yourself play better in the next game? So as soon as you find out which map you're going to be playing on versus which enemy, obviously you want to load that up in your match server and get training on it. So I'd recommend downloading a mod such as XK mod, and I'm sure there's other pro mods which help you train for matches, but these things, you can have god modes, it's such as what I'm using right now, no clip, which allows you to fly around the map and see where stuff can go, where to position your teammates and so on, or to quickly go over tactics. And there's a nade training mod where you can throw a grenade and it'll follow your grenade like so. So you can see most of the grenades which I've perfected myself, I've done using nade training. With God enabled, you don't die from the grenade, so it's very useful. These things help for you bringing in tactics. Ideally, you want all members in your team contributing to the tactics, but this can be difficult sometimes. There should definitely be one person who's always coming up with new map tactics. So I'm predominantly the person who does that for Reform. So that means is that when we have a match and we have training organised for that match, which would normally be, training's normally an hour long, and what it would be is everyone comes in to the server, they'd all go spectate, I'd join a team, and I'll go through positions for everyone, and I'll show people what they're to do at certain times. I'll show grenades for people to do, what positions they play defense. After I'm done all this, I'll allow the team to come on and we'll practice this. We'll go over grenades with everyone. Positions, I'll double check that everyone's learned it. Then what's a really good thing to do is do simulations, like pretend it's an actual game. You don't have to have enemies, just pretend you're running to your positions and you're throwing grenades at this time, smokes at this time, and it's all coordinated. This helps you get ready for matches a lot, as you know what it will be like to a certain extent. Ideally, you want to be doing scrims to test your tactics out, because no matter how good you think your tactics that you've come up with are, chances are it can be anti-stratted in some way. So if you do scrims, this is a great way of finding out how good your tactics are, what the weaknesses are. So first thing, finding out what map you have, training that map, going over positions to everyone, scrimming on it. Then what you want to do is you want to see what your enemy are up to. If you have any one of them on your Steam list, you can go into Black Ops. If you click on their player card, you can view their recent games. And if you see something like a 30-minute video on WMD, for example, chances are they've either been scrimming on it or they've been practicing on it. So you can just download that and view it, see how the enemy are going to play. Change up your own tactics based on what the enemy are doing. Of course, they might change their tactics, but it's a good indicator of how they're going to play in the game. Obviously, you don't want this happening in your own server, and it's quite an easy way to avoid it. You can put it in your config. There's a command which will be in the description of this video, which will show you how to remove it from your config. But in the server you can quite easily do this as well. If you notice the democlient which I just showed there, that's what records this game for the theater. So if I was to take out the democlient, the video I'm doing right now would not be in the file share. So it's quite simple, you just log into Orcon and you type in Orcon client kick 0. And democlient's kicked, and you're free to practice without worry of anyone spying in on your tactics. A lot of teams don't notice, and you can just look at their tactics if you want to figure out what they're doing. Now, once you've finished your games, what I definitely recommend doing is going over the file share video, which has been recorded using democlient, assuming the league allows democlient. This is an extremely useful feature. You can go over the game from every single perspective. You can view the game from the perspective of all your teammates, all the enemies, and flying around the map just to see whether people were playing their positions or were they throwing their grenades correctly. You can speed it up. I often just skim through these videos, but I do go through every single video after I play an official game. So not only is it useful for seeing what your own teammates did, but it's also good to see where your enemies' tactics were effective against yours. How could you change your tactics? So for example, in a recent game we played on Array, at the start we were all holding back for grenades on attack, whereas we could have pushed one of our guys onto the stairs near the spawn house to look into mid, because one of their guys was pushing into the mid area sometimes. And that would have been an easy kill for us had we placed a guy there. But obviously, seeing as we hadn't played many games recently on that map, we weren't to know. This is something I picked up straight away having watched the demo on file share. Obviously, file share isn't available if the league prohibits democlient. Then you can just record yourself using /record, and this will allow you to view the game from your perspective, which is definitely better than nothing. You can also just take the demos from your teammates if you want to watch the game from their perspective. It's a bit more restrictive than what's allowed under file share, but it's worth having a look anyway if democlient isn't available. So hopefully this will have taught you a few things about how we prepare for games, which is one of the reasons that the was so successful. So on match days themselves, what we normally do is we'll see who's playing, we'll get prepared, we'll do an hour's training at the very least, and then after an hour, half an hour before the game, we will do Nuketown for half an hour. So an hour and a half before the game, we'll do training for an hour, make sure everyone knows what they're doing. Then do half an hour aim training in Nuketown. That's just to get your aim good, so you have good reflexes and you're ready to go for the match. Nuketown headquarters domination or anything like that where you're going to be killing lots of players regularly are the best. So this is just to improve your aim, and just in general if you want to improve your aim, go on these servers for like half an hour